All right, you should be able to hear me now. I think I didn't realize that it actually mutes you out. Let me make sure.
All right, you should be able to hear
All
me
right,
now.
there we go. There we go. Okay. Welcome to everyone. Welcome. Where are you guys? Where are you tuning in from? Let me know. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Which country are you from? I was a little bit delayed. I was having a little bit of issues with the stream, and I was struggling to pick which cigar I wanted to smoke with you guys. I've chosen my favorite cigar brand, which is Partagas, and this is the P2. It's a gift from a friend of mine named Kimanzi who left Colombia recently. So we're gonna smoke this while we talk about all of the drama that's happening in the Bitcoin space and why they are coming for your Bitcoin. You're not ready yet. No one's ready. Everyone's talking about stupid things. No one's ready. I was on Clubhouse yesterday. I don't really spend much more time in the Bitcoin rooms now. But I was on Clubhouse yesterday, and people were talking about Jamaican food while this announcement from Vanguard came out. And people are just getting way too comfortable. I don't like that. I don't like it when people get way too comfortable. Because when things are getting comfortable, it makes me wonder, like, what am I missing? When I'm getting way too comfortable, it makes me wonder, what the hell am I missing? And I think everyone should be thinking that as well. And right now, everyone is way too comfortable, right? Um, so there's a couple things that I want to talk about. I haven't got tea today. Wondershare said it's one last dip. Could be, could be. Where are we at right now? Let's have a look. We are at $30,514. There's a few things that I want to talk about today, and the number one most important thing that I think everyone needs to pay attention to is the fact that they are coming for your Bitcoin. Whether you own Bitcoin, whether you are going to buy Bitcoin, whether whatever you're doing, they are coming for your Bitcoin. And most people are not aware of this. We're going to talk a little bit about some philosophy. We're going to talk a little bit about how I structure my portfolio. I put it in my Telegram group. Where I say that like it's like some paid group. No, it's my simple Telegram newsletter that I put it in. Um, Yesterday, and people really like that. So I'm going to talk about how I structure my portfolio so I can outperform Bitcoin. Right, that's my goal. How do I outperform the base layer of my portfolio, which is Bitcoin? First thing I want everyone to do, if you have not already, please, please, please subscribe to the channel that you're watching this on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel, and of course, please share this link. Share this link to people that you think would gain value from understanding why they're a moron and not buying enough Bitcoin. If the person that you're sharing this to has bearish as fuck tendencies, they're not going to enjoy this channel much. But if they're open to being bullish as fuck, if they're open to protecting their energy, if they're open to protecting their future, if they're open to understanding why this is the single most important asset humanity has ever created, well, then they might just fit in quite well here. So, first things first, the Vanguard group, we already know they're coming for Bitcoin, right? We already know that. Anyone not know that? We already know that they're coming for Bitcoin because this ETF is the Trojan horse for institutions to get their hands on your Bitcoin. Because remember, for an institution playing in a $900 trillion pool of capital, giving you $21 trillion to take your Bitcoin, which is $1 million of Bitcoin, is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Like, $21 trillion for the single hardest asset on earth, $1 million of Bitcoin. Sure, take it. No problem. I ain't got no problem with that. Take it. Whereas for you, it's a big deal. Receiving $1 million, you might be one lucky person who's managed to get into Bitcoin at $5,000, and then in a short period of time, you're going to get $1 million for it. You'll say, "Hey, let me sell my Bitcoin for $1 million, right? And that's it. I'm good. My life is set, quote unquote." And I'm here to tell you that you're a moron if you do that. That's what I'm here to tell you. Of course, you need to do what you need to do, but I'm here to give you my opinion and say that you are a moron if you're here to do that. If you're here to do that, you do not understand what this asset is. And to prove to you that the institutions understand better than you what this asset is and that they are coming is the action that happened yesterday with the Vanguard Group. The Vanguard Group is a $7 trillion asset manager, and they have upped their stake in Riot, a US Bitcoin miner Riot, by up to 10%, right? They made this announcement yesterday, up to 10%. So now, and I'm going to talk about why this is important and why people are not paying attention to this. Firstly, the ETF thing came out. As soon as the ETF thing came out, I started buying a bunch of miners because it's common sense. If we're going to control the asset, what we need to do is control the infrastructure next. And the miners is the infrastructure. The miners are the infrastructure. So they've got to control the miners next. If you're trying to deal with any investment, the smartest thing for you to do is to own the asset and then control the infrastructure, right? So of course this was going to happen, and it's going to happen more and more and more. Vanguard bought 10%, 10% up their stake to 10% in Riot, and this is the first of many. This is the first of many because now Bitcoin is being accepted. Now Bitcoin is going to be the good guy on the block. For all this time, it was the devil, and now it's going to be the good guy on the block. Chris said, "I'm at Bristol Airport." Sorry about that. He said, "Escaping to some sun." Yeah, that part I'm glad about. So Vanguard upped their stake to 10% in Bitcoin miner Riot, and it's important to understand why they did this, because it's also important to understand the same reason why you should know who owns a ton of forest land swiftly before ESG was promoted so that they could sell carbon credits, right? It was very important. Hint. Let's see if you guys can get it. Put it in the comments. Hint. The owner of all that forest land that was selling carbon credits, the initials are BR. Wonder if you guys can guess who it was. All right. Infrastructure is essential to controlling an asset class, because if you own the infrastructure, you can now influence what's going to happen to the asset class, at least the majority of the infrastructure. Now, Bitcoin's infrastructure can't be controlled to the extent of, like, if I just control all the miners, then I can decide what to do. It's not going to work like that. But owning a controlling interest in infrastructure in the same asset that you are trying to promote and you are trying to get people to buy is extremely important. I would do the same thing. You would do the same thing. If you had $1 trillion, first thing you want to do is control as much of the asset as you can. Next step is control the infrastructure within the borders of the country that you operate in. It's just common sense. That's why I started buying a bunch of miners as soon as that ETF news came out from BlackRock. Right now, what this highlights is that they are not only coming for your Bitcoin, they're coming for everything. They're coming for everything, and you are not ready. Nobody is ready, right? Nobody's ready. I'm not ready. Nobody's ready. The only thing that we can do and hope for is that we prepare enough. But we are not ready for how much capital is about to start flowing into Bitcoin as a result of this. It's shocking. Now that they're coming for the miners, this is the first sign that this is real, this is happening, and the infrastructure is being secured at this point, right? And remember, they don't need to control all of it. They don't need to buy 100%. They need to buy a controlling interest. They need to buy a controlling interest so that they have control over what decisions are made. So I believe that nobody's ready for how fast this is going to happen. I believe that now that Riot has been, it has been a target of an acquisition, I believe you're going to see much more of these. And I believe, we'll see whether this comes true or not. I believe that Core Scientific, Core's Q, Mara, or Hut is going to be the next acquisition target for a sizable institution like this. These seem to be the best ones, and I think they'll be the target. Core Scientific is obviously in bankruptcy right now, and it needs to deal with that. But once that's dealt with, it is still North America's biggest miner, mining roughly 40 Bitcoins a day. So it will be a target of acquisition at some point, and you need to be ready for that. You need to be ready for that because the capital that's coming is shocking. It's nothing to these institutions to put, you know, $500 billion into Bitcoin. This is nothing. This is chump change, right? And right now the miners are on sale. The miners are completely on sale. Let me have a look at. Let's have a look. So, for example, Core Scientific, the market cap of Core Scientific right now is $434.6 million. Think about that. $500 million, not even 500 billion, $500 million gets you full control of the America's number one highest producing Bitcoin miner. Think about that, right? Now is the time for these institutions to start owning some of these assets. And then you look at Hut 8 mining right now, $846 million buys you Hut, right? These are terribly low prices for all of these companies. Marathon is the biggest one, $2.9 billion, right? As soon as Core Scientific comes out of bankruptcy, it is going to be a target for some form of controlling percentage. And it's very important to understand that as soon as the infrastructure is being purchased, this is a done deal. If you don't think this ETF is a done deal, now that they're purchasing the infrastructure, you know exactly that this is a done deal, right? This is happening, and all you've got to do is get ready for it, right? Remember, in addition to that, the one thing that people are really not paying attention to is that the last cycle was really muted, in my opinion. In my opinion, the last cycle was very muted. And the reason why it was muted was because the VCs and the private equity monkeys were putting the money into shitcoins. And there was shitcoins, Web3, blah, 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 blah going on. And a lot of people got suckered into that. Maybe you were one of those people who got suckered into shitcoins too. That won't be the case this time around. That will not be the case this time around. Because now the private equity and the VCs and the morons have AI stocks to worry about. They've got AI to promote. Not only that, SEC has already taken care of the fact that you've got regulatory concerns over these shitcoins. So now the VCs are looking at it going, wait a second, we lost a ton of money on FTX. We fucked up all of this, regarding FTX and every other shitcoin that we were involved in. All we can do is just focus on AI stocks, stay out of the limelight of the SEC, stay out of the periphery vision of the SEC, and continue to pump something, right? So the VCs, the private equity morons, are all going to focus on AI stocks this time, which means all the capital that's coming is coming to Bitcoin. Because if you don't have someone promoting this bullshit, it's never going to get sold. That's why they were winning last time, because they were putting millions of dollars behind the promotion of these shit coins. They can't do that this time because you've got the SEC on your ass and you've got something else to do. Last time they didn't have anything else to do, right? Wondershare said, Saylor mentioned this, alts will collapse into Bitcoin. Absolutely. Because there is no alternative to Bitcoin when you are not artificially pumping something. These people were artificially pumping something. Uh, Vyas said, bought Solana at the top before being fully orange pilled. Yeah, absolutely. So many people did that. Now, people like that are coming to Bitcoin because they understand that Bitcoin is the most stable one. So Vanguard has done this. They've started attacking infrastructure. And by attacking, all I mean is acquiring, right? I don't mean attacking like it's a bad thing. This is a good thing. The fact that they are coming after infrastructure tells you that they see long-term potential in the underlying asset. That's the only reason you go for an infrastructure play. So I'm looking forward to seeing more and more and more of these happen. I'm looking forward to seeing Core Scientific. I'm looking forward to seeing Hut. I'm looking forward to seeing Mara, all slowly acquired. I mean, if we have a look at it right now, I think Mara might already have a big, yeah. Okay, so Mara Vanguard already owns 6.45% of Mara right now. The second owner on that at 5% is BlackRock. So this is already happening. Infrastructure is already being controlled. Infrastructure is already being taken, and this is something that you need to be aware of, because if you're not aware of it, you're going to miss the boat. You're going to miss this completely, right? Because again, let's talk about the next thing. The public opinion on Bitcoin will be spun so fast that no one will be able to believe it. Right now, we're going on Bitcoin. Okay, what's Bitcoin? Is it stable? Is it safe? Blah blah blah. And it's going to be spun so fast in front of your eyes, you won't believe it. Remember, humans are incentive-driven creatures, right? If I have the incentives to go work hard, I'm going to go and work hard. If I have the incentives to pursue a woman, I'm going to pursue that woman. If I don't have the incentives, I'm not going to do that. So humans are incentive driven creatures, and all of the incentives are being aligned for the powerful institutions to sell Bitcoin on Bitcoin's behalf. Everything is being aligned so that these institutions, it makes sense for them to arm their entire financial sales team to sell Bitcoin. Think about that. Right now, they're selling real estate, they're selling bonds, they're selling stocks, they're selling, futures trades, etc., etc. Pretty soon, they're going to be armed to sell Bitcoin. They're going to be armed to sell Bitcoin and encouraged, because at least they'll be making a profit from it. And what do you do in that scenario when you've got the world's best financial sales army calling everyone and telling them, hey, we should probably put 10%, 5%, whatever of your portfolio into Bitcoin, and we can do it now that we've got this fund. What do you think that does to the Bitcoin price? This is panic. This is a moment of panic. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's coming. Wondershare said you won't be able to buy it either. Exchanges will go down. We've already got the lowest supply of Bitcoin on exchanges right now. The lowest supply of Bitcoin on exchanges. Bitcoin supply on exchanges has been going down consistently since 2020, and this is the lowest it's been. The spread between how much Bitcoin is available and the demand is the lowest that it's been. It's shocking, right? Now we are going to get into that hockey stick moment of the price where it starts to go up a lot faster than what people think. you know and you got to be ready for that. You have to be ready for that, right? The incentives are being aligned. It started with BlackRock. As soon as BlackRock announced that ETF, I was like, okay, well, all bets are off now, because if BlackRock's filing for this ETF, it's pretty much a done deal, right? And remember, if you don't understand what I'm telling you right now, how fast this narrative is going to be spun, you'll be standing on the other side with your head spun like you were in a cartoon movie, wondering what the fuck happened, right? Remember, and I put this on Twitter. I said just how Putin ended the flu season, right? I don't know if I can say that on YouTube or not, so I'm just not going to. Last time they shadow banned a video of mine because I played Larry Fink's video on Fox News. So I'm gonna see how this works out. But just how Putin ended the flu season, right? BlackRock is gonna end Bitcoin fear. It's like there's before BlackRock and after BlackRock. Now that BlackRock's involved, you're going to see an ending of the Bitcoin fear mongering like we've never seen before. It's now going to be the safest thing on earth to basically invest in. And you've got to follow the incentives. And the incentives have been laid, right? And again, I know a lot of people are talking to people, trying to get them involved in Bitcoin, trying to get them to see the light, etc., etc. Bitcoin, and it is your responsibility to do that, especially for the people that you care about. Share this video, share the training, share everything, um, you know, uh, that you can with the people that you love and that you care about. It's very important. But Bitcoin is an IQ test, right? Bitcoin is an IQ test, and currently 99.5% of the world is currently failing. Bitcoin is an IQ test, and 99.5% of the world is failing. This sort of helps you understand how much smarter the world needs to get rapidly, and I mean really rapidly, in order to survive. That's what needs to happen. The world needs to get a lot smarter, and the world will get smarter because that's how the world works. Once people understand how things are working, they can get involved faster and faster and faster. We are all here. There's going to be people coming and watching this video that came after BlackRock said you should invest in Bitcoin. These people, if you're at that point, I welcome you to Bitcoin, but understand that there have been people here operating. I'm talking about people way before me. There have been people here in this market to allow you to get to where you're at. So if you're watching this way into the future, like 4 years, and you are wondering, oh my God, I'm so early, just realize everyone thought the same thing. And if you're before BlackRock, in my mind, you're early. If you're after BlackRock, in my mind, you're like late. That's how I like to think about it. Dave said IQ test. Do you want money that depreciates or appreciates? Not that hard to question. It's not about that. It's about the fear attached to it. The fear is what creates the drama that people have in their own heads. Which is why I did the training. Which is why I launched the training. If you want to grab that training, you can go into the description of the video, or I've just put this QR code up there. You can scan that QR code with your phone. It's free. It's completely free. And if you're someone who's got parents who have lived, their life, remember, my most of my content, if not all of it, most of my content is not really for the young person that understands Bitcoin. It's for your parents. It's for my parents. It's for people who have done everything right for 35 or 40 years and then realized, or not even realized, now are just being taken advantage of because their property prices should be 80% higher than they are right now in order to maintain the same amount of value. But because of the amount of depreciation that's happened, their property prices are hitting 2008 lows when it comes to value, when measured in value. And I explain all of that in that training. It's completely free. So if you know anyone that needs to understand this from start to scratch, if you know anyone like your parents, family members, etc., put them through that training. It's completely and utterly free. um Wondershare said a lot has to do with the conception of Bitcoin and Satoshi remaining anonymous. That's what I mean. You're either going to be before BlackRock or after BlackRock. It's as simple as that. And of course, if you're new and watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel on YouTube as well. I'd appreciate it. Um, while Bitcoin is an IQ test and it explains the flu season that we had very well, it's very important to realize that while 99.5% of the world is currently failing at this IQ test, the moment that hits above 1 or 2%, it's going to be like a fire. It's going to be like a lightning rod that hits. And that's what you got to get ready for. If you're not ready for it, you're going to be sitting around and Bitcoin's 100,000. Suddenly it's going to go to 200,000, right? If you don't believe that that's even possible, go and have a look at the price chart of Tesla and see what happened to Tesla. Right? Sanders said, "Do you think that Bitcoin price is being manipulated? BlackRock is influenced to crush price down and then buy." That mindset is conspiracy theory mindset. And yes, all of these institutions are manipulating price on some level. But when you look at all of the lawsuits that have ever happened on market manipulation, it's for single digit percentages and for a very, very short period of time. That's what they get screwed for, because the markets are set up to combat this sort of thing. That's why the US markets are the most reputable markets in the world. And if you wanted to worry about price manipulation, you got to worry about it based on the futures, not on ETFs. ETFs don't really cause price manipulation. It's mainly the futures prices. The futures is that's what causes it. The advantage that Bitcoin has is that the finality of supply is very, very important for Bitcoin, because the finality of supply states one very, very simple thing. If I short Bitcoin for too long and then the price continues going up, I have to cover, and I have to cover very quickly. So they're not going to take the risk on an asset that you can't just manipulate the supply on. They would be in a very, very precarious position if they did that for too long. So while short term, sure, there can be some price manipulation and there can be some selling in the market, it's not something that's going to last for 5 years consistently because of the short term, uh, because of the finality of supply that Bitcoin has. People really need to understand that. Stop worrying about stupid things. By the time you worry about whether Bitcoin's being manipulated or not, BlackRock's going to buy another 500 Bitcoin, right? If you don't think that they've been buying for many, many years, you don't understand how the game works. When I'm telling you, if anyone thinks that BlackRock, hold on, I need a watermelon and a cigar before I say this. If you guys, if anyone thinks that when Larry Fink was saying, we think Bitcoin is irrelevant, they were not buying Bitcoin. And the moment they filed for the ETF, they suddenly started buying Bitcoin. If that's you, I want to point out to you something. You are extremely naive. You do not understand how the world really works. You are extremely naive and you are going to get yourself hurt, because the world doesn't work like that. When I'm telling you, it's shit, Bitcoin's shit, we're not interested in Bitcoin, that's when I'm accumulating, especially if I've got the voice and the ability to move the price down. If I tell you that we're not buying Bitcoin and you sell your Bitcoin, that is exactly when I want to be buying. If you are too naive, you will get railroaded in this market, in all markets. And if that's you, you need to put down the conspiracies, you need to put down the bullshit, and you need to get to work and understand how the real world works. Not thinking that, oh, Larry Fink turned around and said they are now filing for a Bitcoin ETF, so they must have just started buying Bitcoin today. You're a child if you think that. That's not how the world works. They've been accumulating for years. They've been buying for years. They've been Fidelity hasn't even been lying to you about it. Fidelity's Everyone knows Fidelity's been buying for years. The institutions have always been here. It's just now they're going to start flexing their muscles because it's about time for this asset to to blow up, right? So Understanding how this game works is very, very important. And now let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about. Let me just bring it up for me right here. Let's talk a bit about the inflation print that came out today, shall we? So not only are the institutions coming for infrastructure, not only are institutions coming for the underlying asset, but institutions are also realizing that the liquidity cycle is about to shift. The liquidity cycle is about to shift. What happened today in the CPI print? Well, everyone's worried about inflation. Your doom and gloom boomers, your $10 a month DCA gang. Everyone is worried. The $1,000 net worthers. How are the $1,000 net worthers worried about inflation? Can someone answer me that question? How are you got $1,000 in net worth and you know more about inflation than someone who's got $1 million? Just help me understand that. By the way, I've got a goal to drink a whole gallon of water, so that's why I'm not drinking tea today. Um, so explain that to me. How is it that the doom and gloom boomers, the $10 a month DCA gang, and the $1,000 net worthers know more about inflation than anyone else? You don't have anything that's inflating. What are you talking about? You don't have no problems. Every life is good for you. I've got problems. You don't have any problems. I've got problems, right? This cigar is inflated at 200% over the last 7 years. I have problems, right? Your parents that are living in a home that are trying to look after you and your $1,000 net worth life, they have problems. Someone who's going out there working day to day, trying to survive, trying to figure out how to take care of their kids, trying to figure out how to manage the net worth that they've put together that might be $100,000, $400,000, $1 million, $3 million, small money. They are the ones that have problems. You've got $1,000 net worth. You don't have problems. You don't have inflation problem. Inflation is not. It's like you're just at the effect of everything. Inflation is just one more thing that you're at the effect of. You're at the effect of everything. It's not, like at the end of the day, of course, I'm being a little bit facetious, but it's also important to realize that if you are sitting here and you don't have enough Bitcoin, you're going to get railroaded one way or the other. If you own $1,000 of Bitcoin today, when Bitcoin is $10 million a coin, let's say Bitcoin goes to $10 million a coin, you still only have a net worth of 300,000. I don't know if you've looked around lately or not, and this might be a highly privileged thing to say, but a $300,000 net worth is broke today. Let alone when Bitcoin in a world where Bitcoin is $10 million a coin. 300 grand today is broke, right? If you got there's no one in the cigar lounge smoking cigars with a $300,000 net worth. Can't do it. Chris said I come in and you're bashing $1,000 net worth people. I'm not, like, all I'm trying to say is there's so many people that seem to know about inflation, and it's like, I get really annoyed because I was telling people inflation is not going to be a long-term persistent thing. It is going to go away because the inflation that's being created this time round is being created as a result of supply side issues, not demand side issues. So now what they've done is they've gone and raised up the fucking tightening on the monetary policy to kill the demand side and not realized that the supply side was going to heal itself. So now you've got 50% of the CPI basket sitting in some form of deflation, and now you've got demand that's been being killed as well with interest rates going up like this. So now you're going to see a point where you're going to get into a deflationary period. And I wouldn't be surprised if we hit a deflationary period within 8 months, like actual CPI deflation within 8 months, or within 8 readings. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. At the same time, you got the $1,000 net worthers telling me that inflation is going to be double digits for 20 years, right? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I was talking about the $1,000 net worth people. But The CPI print came out today, right? So not only is it not double digits, but it's got the fastest drop we've seen since before the pandemic or the pandemic. So last time the reading was 4%. The forecast was 3.2%. The consensus was 3.1%, and the actual number was 3%. A full percentage point dip, a full 1% dip in the inflation number. Think about that, right? And that's on the total inflation and even the core inflation rate. Last time it was 5.3, the consensus was 5%, and it came in at 4.8. The core inflation is what the Fed likes to look at because it takes away volatile things like food and energy, which were mainly supply side issues. So now inflation rate year on year is sitting at 3%. And they've tightened interest rates, and they think they're still going to get two more tightenings on the interest rate, and they're gonna pump the interest rates up like that, or rather, still continue increasing interest rates. This is a moronic thing to do. A you are going to enter uh, the the worst amount of demand suppression that you've ever seen. This is going to require a reversal in money printing like we've never ever seen before. A reversal in money printing like it's never ever existed before. And that's coming, right? So inflation's collapsing. Inflation's collapsing, right? Um, the paradigm for inflation is changing. The doom and gloom boomers are going to I'm telling you, the doom and gloom boomers are going to be the first ones who turn around and say, hey, look, inflation was transitory. We were right. These people are morons. These people are morons, right? There was enough people saying that this inflation is created by supply side issues and it does not need to be panicked over. And they didn't listen. They scared everyone. And I hate the fact that they scared everyone and they scared people out of their positions. That's what I hate. There will be people that sold Bitcoin at $21,000 and it's now sitting at $30,000 because they thought it was going to go to $5,000, right? Someone's having fun with their bike. I don't know whether you guys can hear that or not, but it was pretty loud on my side. So these people have cost people their futures. That's what I don't like. That's why I don't like doom and gloom boomers. On the whole, even if you're going through a bear market, if you just sit through in a bull position mentally, right? Mentally and in your portfolio, just sit through in a bull position. Even if you are going through the worst bear market in history, time proves that you will be better off. It is much better off to be bullish unless you are actively trading, and then only 1 to 5% of people can actually successfully do that. Unless you are actively trading consistently for years, it is better to just sit in a constant state of bullishness, as bullish as fuckness, than to be susceptible to a bearish position. Even if you have to sit through a downturn, you'll be much better off just sitting through there in a bullish state, and you'll feel better, right? So we've got the CPI going down. We've got secondhand car prices going down at historic rates. And again, I timed that really well as well. I sold my car before I left in October. It was the second print that came a negative. And I was like, okay, this is done. Sold my car, put it into Bitcoin. Guess which one has done better, right? Secondhand car prices have collapsed. And China is preparing additional stimulus for its property market. And Bitcoin supply is collapsing around the world. And now you've got institutions coming for infrastructure, and you've got institutions coming for actual Bitcoin through the ETF. This is just a roller coaster of things, and it's not actually a roller coaster. It's a fucking rocket ship uh, uh, added to the Bitcoin price. And then in addition to that, from a technical analysis point of view, the 200 day is about to cross up on the 200 week for the first time ever. This is extremely fucking bullish. You've got $50,000 to $60,000 Bitcoin is coming a lot sooner than what anyone thinks that's watching this. This is brewing like the absolute, as Chris said it, perfect storm for for the Bitcoin price. You're going to see a $50,000 to $60,000 Bitcoin price faster than you can ever think. Why? Because this is the 0 to 1 moment for money. Bitcoin is the 0 to 1 moment for money. Everything else before has been testing to get here. Bitcoin is the 0 to 1 moment for money itself. It's finite in supply. It can be infinitely divisible. Everything else, this is the 0 to 1 moment for money, and that's Bitcoin, not anything else. So infrastructure is being taken, Bitcoin's being taken. You've got China preparing more stimulus for their property market. You've got the US about to spin because the inflation is being killed. Full 1% drop on the inflation number is not a small amount, right? Even the core inflation came back significantly lower, 0.4% month over month, 0.4% last time, 0.2% this time. Everything is changing, everything is shifting, right? And what comes next is deflation, and deflation is the most terrifying enemy for anyone who's living in an inflationary system, especially if you're managing an inflationary system. Deflation is your enemy, right? Deflation is your enemy. And unfortunately, the doom and gloom boomers, the $10 a month DCA gang, and the $1,000 net worthers that understand more conspiracy than anything else, basically didn't sell their Bitcoin. Remember that. I don't want you to look at someone who sold their Bitcoin and go, oh, they sold their Bitcoin. They exited their Bitcoin position. No, look at it like this. They entered their dollar position. They bought dollars. They thought in their mind that there is a moment in history, which is right now, that it is better for me to buy US dollars, to buy US dollars. Think about that. They thought it was better to buy US dollars and sell rather than forget selling their Bitcoin. They thought it would be better to buy US dollars with their Bitcoin. That's who you're listening to. That's who you're surrounded by. You understand why progress doesn't come for everyone? Because there's morons out here, and because they wear a suit and they have a good opinion and they shout loud enough and they say the F word too much, you think that they're right. That's the issue here. Deflation is what is next. And when deflation happens, the Fed will fucking panic. And the amount of liquidity that will be dumped into this market will shock everyone. That is what is next. And you got to get ready for it. And how'd you get ready for it? Buy Bitcoin and then help people that you care about also buy Bitcoin. However it is, tell them to watch my content. Go to my Twitter and you'll see the first pinned tweet is a list of resources that I like that helped me understand Bitcoin more and more. Or scan the QR code that I've put there. It's a completely free training and send your people to it. Send your people to it. It's completely free. Send them the link and they'll get a full understanding of front to back on what Bitcoin is and why they need it as an asset in layman's terms. It's designed for people who already have assets. I appreciate and love everyone who, you know, is on my streams of following me who already gets it. But this is really for people who uh, have assets, and who think that they don't need Bitcoin. That's what that training is for. So I've just put the link there. If anyone wants to come and join the live stream, you can come and join the live stream. Just the link is in the comments on YouTube, and we can talk for a few minutes on that. But I just want to highlight, as usual, how urgent and how important this is for you to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. It's not going to stay here, right? It's not going to stay here. And everyone shits on Plan B's original stock to flow model. And it's actually not that bad. It's pretty on point from what I can see. The original one, not the $300,000 one, etc., etc. The original one, because the original one, it showed that really, it's the 2020 cycle price was $50,000, and we're about there, right? Yeah, we spent a bunch of time below it, but we're about there, right? Yeah, we didn't have the parabolic rise, but we're about there. We're about that $50,000 level. Well, guess what? His that old model. Guess what the next cycle price prediction is? $477,000 per coin in the next cycle. Now, I'm not saying whether Plan B's model is right or not. Obviously, you guys understand that I appreciate the idea of stock to flow when it comes to Bitcoin, but I'm not saying whether it's right or not. All I'm saying is that the people who are analyzing this 2020 cycle don't understand how powerful the next one can be. You don't understand because you've been conditioned and you've been beaten down in this bear market, which is we've had a Bitcoin bear market, and we've had a stock market bear market, and we've had a tightening cycle, etc., etc. This is really bad. What we've been through, and if you've been through it, it's really bad. So what we're about to go into next is going to be very, very different, right? We're going to go into a loosening cycle in terms of monetary policy, a loosening cycle. You're then going to have a situation where uh, uh, people are actually stimulating, not just loosening, but stimulating the economy. And there's a lot going on here. And then on top of that, you got the supply collapsing of Bitcoin. So, David, I see you on here. I'm going to bring you on right now. Oh, he's gone. Good timing. Okay. David, you dropped off for some reason. I don't know why that was. If you want to come back, I can bring you on. No problems. So, again, if anyone wants to join the live stream, you can go ahead and click that link. You don't have to. It's just there if you want to, and we can talk. If you've got any questions, I can answer any questions. There was a question that I got on Twitter, which I will answer. Says, hi British, very much appreciate your content. I've been sending it to the people I care about. Good, and I appreciate it. I was wondering if you think it would be wise to accumulate a stack of non KYC Bitcoin and pay a bit of a premium in case the governments of the world come looking for the BTC that you have purchased on exchanges and somehow put pressure on you to either give it up or tax you heavily on it. I can't comment on that, especially on a public stream. But I think it's always good to diversify your holdings, right? It's always good to diversify your holdings. And it's always good to diversify the risk on your holdings. It's always good. And you got to have, jurisdictional arbitrage when it comes to that. Chris, welcome to the stream.
What's up, brother?
Listen, why you got your chest out? Are you trying to make me jealous?
My bad, bro. My bad, bro.
Is that trying to show me up
see,
on
that,
my stream?
see my Bitcoin flag over there?
I do. Look at that. That now that's a flag right there.
That's a flag. That's the only flag that we need to have,
There we
All
go.
these other flags are irrelevant. I just want to say what's up, bro. You had me crying, laughing. As soon as I get in, you're over here ranking on $1,000 network.
Isn't it true though?
It is true, man, but it's just funny, bro. You had me crying, laughing, bro. But keep doing what you're doing. Continue to educate people, and hopefully they'll see the light one day.
I appreciate it. How many people have you orange pilled, do you think?
To be honest with you, bro, I have no idea, bro.
There's quite a few
No
though.
clue. And as long as we can, yeah. If y'all want y'all Bitcoin flags, go to bitcoinflags.shop. It's only going to be up for like I think a month or two more. They're a limited edition merchandise that's going to be up. So if you guys are interested in that, go check that out. But I don't know how many people I've orange pilled. I don't know, bro. How many people you think you orange pilled?
I don't know either. Like it's shocking to me. I know for sure that in my other life and my other consulting business, we've probably helped people buy somewhere in the region of $50 million of Bitcoin.
There you
So
go.
yeah, like I know that. I don't know in my like Twitter world because I get random messages from people saying, because of you and your constant drumming in my head, like I got to one Bitcoin, etc., etc. So like that's cool to see. It's pretty cool to see that, like a random person just listening to you know me talking shit on Clubhouse or YouTube or whatever, and then realizes they need to get to one Bitcoin and actually goes and does it. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I think Clubhouse days was the most, where we had the most impact. But also, for people like I've been in the space since 2016. So, and I haven't sold any Bitcoin, even though we went up from like I got in at like around I got in at like 3 grand, 5 grand.
Yeah.
Actually, I got in around $1,000, and I seen it go from 1,000 to 20,000 and back down to 3,000, and I held the whole time. Most people don't have that conviction. So
Yeah.
most people that got in when we were orange pilling on Clubhouse, when we hit 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000, a lot of people were buying at those levels, and like you were saying, some people just sold their Bitcoin for fiat and don't really understand the asset that they have, unfortunately. And if you have the conviction and you did your research, you did your proof of work, then you understand what you have. And it takes time, like that get rich quick scheme is what in the Bible it says, those who try to get rich quick, you're gonna lose your bread. It's gonna fade just as quick. You're gonna lose all that money. So and a person who works hard for their money will last forever. It'll last a long time. So
Well,
I
in the
just try to.
Bible, at least the money they had was gold, right? At
I
least
don't
the
know
money they
what they
had.
had back then. They had gold, and I'm pretty sure they had other methods of
Listen,
currency.
Bitcoin would be Jesus's choice of money. Let's just face it.
Absolutely.
Right or wrong, Bitcoin has to be Jesus's choice of money. There can't be anything else that Jesus would choose. It has to be Bitcoin.
And
If
people
Bitcoin
think that
was
Jesus was broke. Like, Jesus wasn't broke. Jesus had bread, and Jesus doesn't want you to be broke either. And he wants you to have money. Like, how do you expect to impact people's lives and to help people if you're broke? So, a lot of people think that Jesus doesn't want us to have money, or money is bad. It's the love of money. Is when you love money more than you love people, and you love money more than God. That's the bad thing about it, is when you put that over God. But God don't want you to be broke, guys. God wants you to stack some Bitcoin, because a good father leaves an inheritance for his children's children, which I always say. So again, you're right on point by teaching this message. And even though people that might have $1,000 net worth, or 5, 10, $100 of Bitcoin, I think like you said, us pushing that and talking to them consistently, and letting them know the importance of having this asset is encouraging them to get to work and buy more
you,
Bitcoin.
you know the reason why I bug the $1,000 net worthers is not because what they're doing is stupid, right? Because obviously Bitcoin is designed for everyone. It's going to help everyone, especially the people who have been earning their money and thinking that it's going to be maintaining their value. The reason why I bug them is because they think this is all they need to do. Right? They think if I just buy Bitcoin and follow British's three rules, I'm going to be fine. And unfortunately, you're not. My three rules are really for people who have a sizable amount of Bitcoin. If you've got $1,000 of Bitcoin, you need to start building something. Start building a business, create some value, go get another job, stop shit posting on Twitter, and start getting some more Bitcoin under your belt. Otherwise, you're just going to be like everyone. You're going to be exactly who you are right now with a little bit more dollars a set. Like someone who's got $300,000 net worth now, no one's listening to them. Who's listening to someone who's got a $300,000 net worth right now? I'm serious though. Like you think what are you influencing with your $300,000 net worth?
So funny.
Nothing, right? Go. You need to get out there and start working, and you'll have. That's what you'll have. You'll have a $300,000 net worth if you got $1,000 of Bitcoin today. When Bitcoin is $10 million, you will be exactly who you are now, a loser and broke.
I'm just glad I have some Bitcoin, man. I'm glad I you
Absolutely.
know I think we're doing God's work, and you're doing God's work, and in the future it's going to pay off big for those that understand, and that hodl, because it's easy, but it's not simple. Buying Bitcoin is easy, which American hodl says, right? Buying Bitcoin is easy, but holding and just going through these you know volatile times is not easy, bro.
That's the crazy part. So the most interesting part is going to be like who. Imagine the people that bought Bitcoin at $45,000. It went all the way up to 69 and then came all the way crashing down to 15 and a half. If you've held on to that, you are
You
you are
deserve.
never ever letting go of your Bitcoin because
Exactly. You deserve it.
exactly you've earned the right to that wealth, and that's very
Absolutely.
very important. It's super
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine
So,
that? Can you imagine if you went from $1,000 to $20,000, went all the way back down to $3,000, and then it
I
went up to
bought more.
69. Yeah, then
Yeah,
it
I
went up
bought
to
more.
69, and you were like, you know what? I'm done with this. Like,
I could,
this doesn't make sense.
see that's the fiat mind, and see, I understand money and I understand assets, and I have businesses, so I understand Bitcoin, so I don't care what price is at. The cheaper it is, I get more excited because I can buy more. But for the average person, they think the complete opposite of what we think. They think it's you're supposed to buy on red. Like, you're not supposed to sell on red. You buy on red. You're supposed to do the opposite. So sheep are gonna do what sheep do, and the people that understand money, they're gonna buy the asset that's the hardest asset, hardest money, the best money ever created on earth. So if you don't understand those things, then have fun staying poor.
I love and I hate that line. I love and I hate have fun staying poor because it's so true, and yet I want to just shake people and I say get into some fucking Bitcoin. Like, it's so dumb to me when I say when people just don't. At this, you don't get it at this point. I understand that you didn't get it when Satoshi was like writing on a forum. I understand that you didn't get it in the 2017 cycle. I understand that you don't get it now. Now that BlackRock's in, you don't get it. At that point, you're just dumb as shit.
I mean, bro, and this is I post like my Facebook is like more personal, and like there's a lot of older people that follow me on there, and I have a lot of friends and stuff that I grew up with, and my Bitcoin content, no likes, no comments, no nobody, bro. I'm like, yo, what is wrong with you guys, bro? And then I come over to Twitter, and everybody's like, everybody understands money, right? And they understand Bitcoin. So it's like there's always gonna be people that are not gonna understand this, bro. And no matter what we do, we can only lead the horse to the water. We can't make him drink. But as long as we beat that
No, I'm
drum,
at the point. I'm at the point now where I'm grabbing that horse's head and shoving it in the water. Like, it's just, I don't care no more. You bet you think I can't make a horse drink water? You wait until it's gasping for air and its mouth is in the water. It's gonna be drinking that. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, it's gonna be drinking that because that's what the world needs right now. What do you want me to do? Just sit around while the people I
absolutely.
care about like just get stuffed and fucked over by all these institutions again and again and again? Hell no. I'm shoving that horse's head into the bucket. And
You're so
when it
funny,
tries to
bro.
gasp for air, it's gonna get a whole lot of Bitcoin water. That's all it's gonna get.
So what I do is for people that I care about, I just send them some Bitcoin, and I actually make them a wallet, and I hold some. If they don't want to take it, then I just put it in a separate wallet and I hold it for them.
Yeah, exactly. I've done that. I've done that for sure. I've got my brother and everyone else sort of taken care of.
Yeah, but everybody
So
else, man, hey, we try. We can only do so much, bro.
I'm
After
here.
all the
We're
hours on
here.
Clubhouse, after all the tweets, all the videos, all the live streams, all the spaces, there's only so much we can do, brother. There's only so much we can do.
I was thinking about that the other day. I think I'll be. I don't think I'll be around after the next
Yeah,
two
yeah.
cycles. I think two
I'm done.
cycles.
Yeah, I'm definitely done. 2 cycles, bro. Next cycle, I'm out of here, bro.
Really? Yeah. No, I
I'm
think
out of
two
here.
cycles. I think I'll be done. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I've got all this content created. I've got everything. Like, at some point, you just got to be like, because I believe this cycle, Bitcoin is going to be outpriced. It's going to outprice all the Western millionaires. It's already outpriced all the Western middle class in this 2020 cycle. The next cycle, it's Western millionaires that are getting outpriced. Because if you're a millionaire and you're a low digit millionaire, you're not going to be able to buy a whole Bitcoin because you're not going to be able to put $400,000 of your $1.5 million net worth into it. It's not going to happen. So we're going to outprice Western millionaires.
And not every million. See, people don't understand. It's just math, bro. To be honest with you, it's math, and I don't understand why people can't do simple math, right? Not all the millionaires in the world can't own one Bitcoin, and they're greedy. All the billionaires can't own one Bitcoin. So, what do you think is going to happen when they realize? And I'm pretty sure they're already accumulating, right? Who knows what's really happening behind the scenes? But what do you think is going to happen when all these people start trying to buy Bitcoin, bro? God candle is coming, bro, and
Have
they're
you
not ready.
seen have you seen the charts for how much supply there has been taken off exchanges? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no supply on exchanges right now.
yeah. It's super, super low. I mean, And we were talking about this back in 2021, 2022, but there's going to be manipulation and exchanges, and who knows how much Binance really has and Coinbase really has, and paper trading Bitcoin and all this stuff, and then the ETF coming. There's a lot, like you were saying earlier. It's the perfect storm of brewing for a God candle, and a lot of people don't really understand. And they're gonna see it once we hit. I'm telling you, bro. My bearish target for Bitcoin is 220,000 to 350, and then my bullish is like 450 to $1 million, bro. And there's a reason why, because that's only 17 to 22x, which we did from 3 grand to 69,000. So if we just did that, the bearish is 220,000. That hasn't even included anything that we've been talking about, bro. Supply shock, corporations, regular people, millionaires, billionaires, countries, governments. Like no, like
ETFs.
people don't understand the math. ETFs, the math. The math is not mathing for you guys, bro. You guys
The
don't
problem,
understand.
the reason why the math has not been mathing for a lot of these people is because what they are used to is the demand for properties going up, and then the government stepping in and saying, okay, now you can build 50,000 more properties than we were doing, right? That's why the math doesn't math for these people, because they're used to supply being affected as soon as
Yeah,
demand is affected, and you just can't
absolutely.
do that this time around.
And it's the same with gold, right?
It's the
They
same
can
with
go, they can dig more gold out the ground as soon as they need more.
exactly,
So,
exactly. So
mhm.
that's what it is. That and people have got to get into it, and now is the time, because if they ain't doing it right now, they ain't gonna do it. It's very simple. You're gonna be working for Chris. That's what they're gonna
And
be
how to
doing.
work for British.
They're gonna be working for
Bitcoin
Chris.
tatted, I got no fear. I went and I mean, people call me crazy for tattooing Bitcoin on my face, but when you have conviction, you're gonna do what you do. I believe in
I
Bitcoin so
have
much.
conviction, but I'm not gonna get a Bitcoin tattoo on my face. So that's just
It's all-
like extra level of conviction that you have.
no
I
problem, bro.
might
I'm
get
about
one
to
right here. I should get one right here, like Birdman.
get a big B.
Yeah, just get a big B on my fore on the crown on the dome. Anyway, right, bro. I'm
I'm about
gonna
to.
I'm gonna I'm gonna call it a
Yeah,
quit here.
about
You
to
got
head out.
anything out? You got anything you need to promote?
Bitcoin Dad Fiat Dad book on the way. So go to bitcoindadfiatdad.com. You can prepay or pre-order right now with Bitcoin or in dirty fiat, whatever you want to do. You'll be added to the waiting list. Everybody that has purchased already, thank you so much. And just go get a Bitcoin flag, guys. Bitcoinflags.shop. And much love to you, British. I'm Audi and Isaac.
Oh,
What's
hold on
up?
one
And
second. Let's see if Isaac's got a question. What's up,
okay.
Isaac?
That's good. How you doing, Manesh? Hey guys. It was just more a comment. I think since last time I bought some Bitcoin, and now I'm a believer, 100%. So
Good,
you've had an effect, an impact. Yeah,
good, man. Good. I'm
uh,
glad. I'm proud of you.
yeah. Been reading
What
through the economic book you recommend as well, the Bitcoin one.
the
I've
Bitcoin
just slipped
standard?
my mind. That's it. So that helped to cement a lot of the conviction behind it.
Nice.
Um, the validity of this as a method of money and also being the most reliable method of money, looking at the supply and all that. So that's made sense. I think that was the missing piece,
Yeah.
because without that, it was just like this concept of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. You're thinking, okay, why should it be popular? Is it just something that everyone just made popular? But then going through the book and through a lot of your videos, now I understand the fundamentals behind it, and it's easier to just have a conviction and stay convicted. And I like what you say, just have a long term perspective.
Yeah.
Buy Bitcoin, shut up, and just ride the wave. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Just three rules.
It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple.
Yeah,
It's pretty simple.
Absolutely.
All
yeah,
right, guys. I
That's
appreciate it. Thank you for the comment, Isaac.
no worries.
All
sure.
right, guys.
British, you
Chris,
have a
I'll
good day.
speak to you soon. And everyone else, remember, there's only three rules to Bitcoin, as we always say. Those three rules are: step number one, you buy Bitcoin; step number two, you shut the fuck up; and step number three, you get fabulously wealthy. Please share the YouTube channel if you're new. Please subscribe for more of these live streams and more of the shorts and everything else that we're doing. And of course, if you haven't seen the training yet, it's called the $5 million Bitcoin. It takes you from point A to point Z on exactly what Bitcoin is, why you need it. It's designed for people who have traditional assets that want to get into Bitcoin and are struggling with understanding it. You scan the QR code or go to the link in the description and get it. It's completely and utterly free. Please send it to the people that you think would value from that. I'll speak to you guys soon. Again, 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the fuck up. Step number 3,